Hey guys, one of the first things that you need to learn how to do when you start learning some of the stuff on the computer is how to make a schedule for some units. So first of all, you're going to log into the system. And for an example, I'm going to use a building that actually has all of the units offline here. As you'll see, all offline, all red axes. But say you're making a schedule for the second floor at 9339-1. What you'd do is you'd open the schedule folder, and I suggest highlighting the schedule folder, going to insert to folder, so you can make a subfolder so you can keep all your files nice and neat together. We're going to call it, for example, 9339 second floor, and then SCH. Actually, I probably wouldn't put that in there. Something like that. So it's this is going to be the big folder that we're going to have everything in. Just click next, next, finish, and you'll see it populated right here. So now we got a folder to put all our stuff in. So the first thing you're going to want to do is insert. So let me back up. So there's three things you're going to have to create in order to get a schedule functioning the way we like to do it. There are other ways of doing this, but this is the proper way that I've been taught, at least, is how we're supposed to do it. So right here you can see this little icon right here. Looks like a time watch, I guess, or stopwatch. So that represents the schedule. The T/F icon right there stands for a binary value, and then the key right here stands for interlock. So the first thing we're going to do is highlight our folder, go to Insert, Object, BV. We're going to do the BV first. I personally like doing the BV first. We're going to click Next. It's got our folder already highlighted here, so we're just going to click Next. This is where you can name your points, so we could put it 9339. Again, these names are whatever you want them to be. I would suggest sticking with whatever naming scheme you've already seen on the NEE itself, or you see on other NEEs. Try to just keep it consistent. That's always helpful for the next guy down the line. Do a second floor. And I put BV at the end to indicate it's a binary value. Yeah. And next. So I would change this, the states text, to unoccupied, occupied right here. If you need to find that faster, you can press the first letter of unoccupied would be U, and you can find it real quick. Like if I want to say find alarm, keep pressing A and it'll scroll through it. And if I want to go to the U's, I can go like that and find unoccupied, occupied. I should be able to leave everything else pretty much basic stuff. Click next, click finish. I always put a trend on it. It always helps service techs down the line with if they're trying to figure out something. Since this is a binary value and it literally goes only on or off a couple times a day, I reduced the buffer size down to 20, sample interval down to 0, and the repository we turn true so it saves to the server, and then the transfer set point is how many points it gets in it and then transfers it to the server. So we'll leave it like that and click last, click finish, and I think that's it for that. So now if we open our folder over here on the left again, you now see that we have that true false, true false. So now our BV is created. Next thing we're gonna do is create, go to insert, object again. This time we are going to go to schedule. And click next. And we're going to name the schedule here. I personally like to keep it somewhat similar to what we've seen before. SCH is shorthand for schedule. Then we get here. So you should be already on selected items. What we're going to put into selected items is that binary value that we had before, which is, so open up your NEE, open up the scheduling folder, open up the schedule we made, and then click that guy right there. So now if you, after we've done that, check weekly schedule. And this is where you create your weekly schedule. So first what you want to do, you want to put everything to unoccupied. There's some weird little tweaks, but you always want to put everything 24/7 unoccupied first. And then say we wanted to do Monday through Friday, we wanted to actually run the units at, I don't know, let's say 9 a.m. Let's say we're going to do it from 9 to 5. So Monday through Friday, your typical work day. I would click 9 o'clock occupied, and you'll see it now starts at 9, Monday through Friday, but it looks like it goes all the way to midnight. So in order to remedy that, we added another one. We do Monday through Friday, because that's what we're doing again. And then this is in military time, so 5 would be 17. 5 p.m. would be 17. You click OK, and now you got your 9 to 5. Right there. 17, 17, 17. And now that you have, so on Monday, it will be unoccupied until 9 o'clock. And then it will go occupied until 5 o'clock, and then go unoccupied for the rest of the day. So basically, this schedule right here is going to tell this point to be active or inactive during a specific time. So I'm going to click Next and click Finish. I shouldn't need a trend or anything here, so just click Done. So now you can see we have our little stopwatch indicating that we got a schedule over here. So right now, this schedule is just turning on this little binary value on or off, on or off, on or off. But that little point isn't connected to any actual units. We're literally just digitally turning something on and off right now on a schedule, but it's actually not really doing anything. So the last piece of the puzzle is the interlock. So we're going to highlight our folder again, go to Insert, Object, Interlock, right here. We already have our folder highlighted. And then we're going to rename it here. I'm a terrible typist. INLK is the abbreviation we use for interlock a lot of times, if you're curious. Alright. And then I would leave the states text false true actually for this. Yeah, we'll leave it that way. We'll change it if need be, but I think it should be fine for now. So we're going to click on interlock definition. We're going to change this to OR, and we are going to add that binary value. Oh, where is it? This binary value right here. Right there. Make sure it says occupied. You could do it with unoccupied, but you do things backwards, and we'll just make it easier. Make sure it says occupied. So once that goes occupied, and this statement is true, so if it was 4 in the morning and our binary value was unoccupied, it would put this to false. But once it hits 9:05 in the morning, this would go true. So for true, we want to add the units that we want to turn on. So when this point goes active, we want to turn on, let's say, heat pump 10 through 15. So, it's going to be kind of hard to, oh, there we go. So what I would do is, because you have to grab a couple, or a point from each one, we want all the command points for heat pump 10 through 15. So we want this OCC COMD, basically the occupancy command. We'd highlight that one, highlight that one, highlight that one. Is my computer lagging? Of course it is. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright. That one's for 13, 14, and 15. And we're going to click OK down here. And as you see, it added them to here. So when it's true, or you want to set it to occupied, think of it that way, you want to set the state to occupied. These ones actually default to the correct values. As you can see down here, for false, when it's outside of the functioning occupied hours, we want to set it to unoccupied. Set this one to unoccupied. So you see you have to do it for each and every one. Now there's a little trick where you can click this over here to select all. You can click set command and set them all into unoccupied. I'm sorry. This doesn't work on all versions of Metasys, so that might be there and it might not be, but that is a little tip. So another good habit to get into is, if we were to occupy all these units, say a whole floor of, say, 30 heat pump units all at once, that would be a big load on the building, and it could cause things to trip. So you can actually add in little delays for when it actually goes occupied, so you don't have all the units actually like occupying at once. So I tend to, either put intervals or 5 seconds or 10 seconds of each one for when it turns on. So, your first one turns on right when it commands. The second one turns on 10 seconds later. The third one turns on 10 seconds later after that, yada, yada, yada. And then for when they turn off, it doesn't really matter. You can just leave those all zeros. It shouldn't matter. Then you can click next. And then finish. I would highly suggest adding a trend on here. It helps people troubleshoot issues later. So we're going to click next. This is another one that doesn't happen too often, so we're going to use the same settings we did for the binary value. Click last, finish, done. Alright. So that's a basic overview of how you make a schedule for something. So and now you have your nice little neat little folder under schedule that has all 3 of your things right there. So you have your binary value. That's just that little software point that just literally goes true or false. And the reason it changes from true or false is because it's linked to the schedule. Come on. Schedule. So it would be false, unoccupied. Unoccupied would equal false. And then once it's true, it's occupied. And then it would go false again during the day. And say Saturday would be just false all day long. False all day long. So this goes on and off. This commands this binary value to go on or off depending on time. So the binary value tells this interlock we added what units command off that point. So, yeah, if you have any questions, ask the service technician. All right. If you have any more questions, yeah, just call a service technician or a programmer or anything. Yeah. All right.